Spooky season is well upon us. In fact, by the time I release this, it may well and truly be over. Thanks to decades of gaming, we had a wealth of games to play this year. For example, we've had a remake of the critically acclaimed early 2000s horror classic, Silent Hill 2. The remake is scoring well and seems to be living up to the high praise of the original, and seems to be the developer Bloober Team's highest rated game by a good margin. This has been a fairly average year of horror, though, with the aforementioned Silent Hill 2 remake and a couple of PS1 horror style games, Crow Country and Conscript. However, last year was truly exceptional for the genre, especially in the AAA world. In fact, it was probably an all-time great. The three horror games that got the most attention last year are the RE4 remake, Alan Wake 2, and of course the Dead Space remake. Two of these were even nominated for Game of the Year at last year's Game Awards. I beat Resident Evil 4 and its DLC earlier this year, and I gotta say it was fantastic. The combat was great, the graphics were of course up to snuff, and it was a great mix of camp and horror. The DLC starring Ada was also great, giving you the same game through a different character's perspective. To top it all off, the DLC even had a grappling hook. All this to say, I didn't even like the original RE4. I liked the atmosphere, and again the RE silliness balanced well with the scares, but the combat was just outdated, and I couldn't get through it. I've become a huge Resident Evil fan since the first time I played 7, and it was nice to say that I finally enjoyed the classic that is RE4. Next up, we have the long-awaited sequel to the cult classic Alan Wake 2. And I don't have a lot to say about this game simply because I haven't beaten it. I started it earlier this year, but I went so long without playing it that I forgot what I was doing, and I just started it over. And I'm only a couple hours in, but so far it's been great. Tight controls, spooky atmosphere, compelling story wrapped all up in Remedy's weirdness. I look forward to playing this more in the coming days and weeks. I also want to say that it's a shame that the game just now started to really recoup its costs. A Game of the Year contender and a long-awaited sequel that improved on the original in all aspects, a year later that still hasn't made all its money back. If you've gotten bored with a lot of modern games, put your money where your mouth is and pick this up. Show big publishers that these kinds of games are a good investment. Finally, the game that inspired this video is the Dead Space remake. Coming out at the beginning of last year, just a couple days after my birthday, the Dead Space remake was praised for things such as its updated graphics and improvements to certain missions. But I didn't want to play it at the time, so I put it to the side. Then October came around and I wanted to play something spooky, and the Dead Space remake was right there. I had already purchased it on a Steam sale at some point. However, unfortunately, my puny PC couldn't play it to any FPS that would be good. But luckily, PlayStation Plus had given it away to its members this Halloween, along with Doki Doki Literature Club, another great game that you should definitely play if you have not. Anyway, I had heard nothing but praise for the game, so I installed it onto my PS5 and began to play. Immediately, the game looked fantastic. The Ishimura is dripping in atmosphere and feels like a real place. Definitely one of the best locations in horror. You really feel like you're on your own in space. Also, the necromorphs, the monsters in Dead Space, are fantastic. Both gross and creepy, they're up there in terms of monsters. Although they don't really scare me as much as they did originally, the game also plays and runs well, at least on PS5. I primarily play any kind of shooter with a mouse and keyboard, but the controller felt great. Although I'm no expert on how games should run like Digital Foundry, but this one seemed like it ran well. I didn't notice any performance issues at all. However, unless I change the name of this video, obviously something is wrong with the Dead Space remake. So, if it's not the graphics or the gameplay or the performance, well then what is it? Well, while I said I like the necromorphs, there is something about them that I just cannot stand. There are just too damn many of them, especially as you get further and further into the game. While you're doing a puzzle, you might be just shoved into a tight spot, and the damn things just keep coming. Yes, I know, I probably sound like a little baby boy bitch, but I eventually made it maybe 3/4 of the way through the game, and reluctantly turned down the difficulty to the story mode. I just needed either more ammo or less enemies. Pick one. Or at least let me run from them, like I can in Resident Evil. While I'm complaining about the enemies, the little baby ones and the swarming ones can both piss off. Just awful. I can't even see the little swarming ones until they are literally on top of me. I haven't heard anyone talk about this, so I'm probably alone, but let me know what you think. What are your thoughts about the remake in the comments down below? And also make sure to like if you enjoyed the video and subscribe for more videos like it. I hope everyone has a great day, and I will see you guys next time.